What's up, Poster fam? You guys know who it is, and you've read the title and thumbnail. This timeline hasn't been explored in a while, so let's jump into a recap. When we last left off, the Leaf Village was still recovering from Orochimaru's attack. In the wake of losing 3rd Hokage, Jiraiya and Naruto have set out to find the next Hokage candidate. While back at home, 2 dangerous strangers have infiltrated the village and battled against some of the Leaf's strongest warriors, escaping when too much attention was gained on them. And in the poll last time, you all voted for Zabuza to be the one going after Sasuke. We return to this story now. Hearing Kakashi's students in peril, and by Kisame no less, Zabuza disregards any protest to his leaving, zooming out of the room and even purposely leaving his sword behind so as not to lose any speed. Running as fast as his injured body can move him, Zabuza tracks Sasuke, who has been tracking down the Akatsuki after Naruto. Thankfully, Zabuza was a trained assassin with a totally different skill set than what Guy had, so he has knowledge of how to track much better than Guy, and as such, he's making better time than in canon due to skill and not speed alone. But in his mind, he was berating himself. This was so stupid. That idiotic beast of battle could handle this, so why did his body move on its own when he realized that Kakashi's brats were in danger? He was without the executioner's blade, and the speed he ran at, his wounds had opened back up. Not to mention, he reckoned he only had enough chakra for one big ninjutsu at the most. And at this point, he was 100% sure that there was nothing he could do against Kisame, or the other Uchiha who had put Kakashi out of commission without any effort at all. And even if he wasn't outmatched in every sense of the term, his body was ready to give up on him. This was pointless. But, just for logic to slow his feet, he thought back to Haku, racing in front of Kakashi's lightning blade without any hesitation whatsoever. And Zabuza kept moving. If he could at least get Naruto, and to an extent Sasuke, out of danger, or maybe just an opening to run, then he'd be happy. He'd lay his life down for that. At the hotel, things will start going a lot like in canon, but Zabuza has arrived to it around the same time that Sasuke finds the wrong hotel room, and begins to set up a plan to try and get the boys out of the situation. As Guy did, he would hide himself at the corner or the end of the hallway, and wait for an opening. As he hears the chirp of the Chidori and Sasuke roaring at his brother, he tries to run through a set of hand signs as quick as he can. He can hear the boys' attack land in a loud explosion. Itachi had simply grabbed his brother's arm, stopping the attack short from going through him. Seeing this, Naruto would panic and try and pull the fox's chakra to help his comrade, a moment used as Zabuza's signal. Itachi and Kisame would glance back to Naruto at the same time, while simultaneously, Zabuza would leap from the corner and yell out to Naruto to run before releasing his great waterfall technique. One much smaller than the one Kakashi created, but large enough to nearly flood the entire hallway. Itachi would scoff at this and simply snap Sasuke's arm like a twig, ensuring the electricity from his hand was cut off. Meanwhile, Naruto recognizes Zabuza's voice, but his loyalty to his mentor and comrade kept his feet steadfast, stuck to the ground. Kisame wouldn't even flinch as he was washed over by the large volume of water, while Itachi would smoothly jump to hang out the ceiling, just high enough to not be touched by the water, while letting Sasuke be washed away and slam to the wall behind them along with Naruto. But just as soon as it appeared, the water in the hallway began to disappear, as it was sucked away by Kisame's blade, consuming the chakra inside the water and clearing it away. That was it. That was all Zabuza had. The last dregs of his chakra, and it was only enough to get the boys a few feet away from the enemy. He quickly collapsed to one knee, panting heavily, as he was spent now. Hearing wet footsteps approach him, he would look up to see Kisame grinning down at him. Before his foot slammed to his chest, and he was flung back, smacking against the wall behind him. Well, baby Zabuza, you're getting a bit too annoying to let live. I think I'll finish you off now. You are my junior, it's only right. We're sharks, you and I. And well, you know the rest. The swordsman then raised his blade above his head to do the deed. Fighting to remain conscious, Zabuza catches a glimpse of Itachi approaching Naruto and Sasuke. The latter was trying to pull the former onto his feet to run, but the Uchiha struggled far too much and was still trying to fight his brother. In the next instant, both boys were pinned against the wall, held by Itachi by their throats. Then, with only a whisper and a glance, the younger Uchiha is rendered unconscious after screaming bloody murder. Naruto is speechless. Once again refusing to give up, Zabuza would weakly try to stand, but Kisame would easily shove him back down. He would then grin and ask, "What happened to you, demon of the mist? You've always been so ruthless. You knew you couldn't win here, and you threw your life away? For what?" Zabuza was silent for a bit before he struggled to speak. That brat, his goal. I want to see him succeed. I learned what loyalty means. I learned that ambition isn't all that's in this world. That's what happened, you damn fish. So you think running around and yelling your head off, taking stupid pointless risks, that's what loyalty is? Is that what strength is to you? I'm not sure yet. That's why you can't have the brat. I want to see if what he said was true. I want to see through him, if his ambitions are possible. If shinobi are more than mere tools, if loyalty is truly real, and strength, when a person has someone precious to them that they truly want to protect, that is when they become truly strong. I've seen that already, Kisame. No longer amused, Kisame's grin drops. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Zabuza would close his eyes, and once again regret that he would not be seeing Haku in the next life. As Kisame swung Samehade down, instead of the dull sound of a skull being crushed by it, a crisp clank rang out instead. Zabuza's consciousness began to fade, as he realized it was a toe that blocked the blade. Suddenly, the walls of the hallway would transform into a strange fleshy texture and begin to absorb everyone into it. Jiraiya would reveal himself and chuckle. He decided to wait a bit since he still had a few doubts about Zabuza being a missing nin not too long ago, up till now. But he seemed like a kind of guy that he could drink with, so he'd help him out. With these developments, like in canon, Itachi and Kisame would still go on to flee from the scene using the black flames of the Amaterasu to escape from the Toad Mousetrap's fire-resistant innards. Jiraiya would curse and begin tending to Zabuza's wounds since they were the most egregious at the moment. But there was little more he could do than turn off his wounds and infuse a good chunk of his chakra into him to keep him from dropping to zero and dying. When all was said and done, Zabuza still had a very weak pulse, but it was there. Unfortunately, God would arrive with an ill-timed dynamic entry. Later, the injured and unconscious Sasuke would be carried back to Leaf along with Zabuza, where both would be admitted to the hospital along with Kakashi and Asuma. And from here, we would start to see the timeline begin to sync up with canon. Jiraiya and Naruto would journey to find Tsunade while training in the art of Rasengan on the way. Naruto's improved chakra control and power would be a boon to this training, but I don't think it would be to a level that garners any real significant changes. Though I could see him achieving the 3 different stages an hour or so earlier, but not much faster than that. From here, the rest of this arc would go virtually the same as it did in canon, beat for beat, meaning Tsunade Senju would become the 5th Hokage. Once returning to the Leaf Village, Naruto is eager to have Tsunade heal Rock Lee, Sasuke, Kakashi, and Zabuza. And to her credit, in terms of everyone but Rock Lee, she is able to do so very easily. Having still faced off against his brother and treated like little more than a gnat, Sasuke is still seething and stewing in his rage. Likely even more so than in canon, because remember, this Naruto has been quickly catching up to him since the Chunin exams, and even defeated Gaara as well. Not to mention his brother made his strongest technique look like a love tap. For some odd unknown reason, he was unable to gain the same massive increases in power that Naruto did at the same rate, and it infuriated him. Sasuke would still feel extremely inadequate and challenge Naruto to a fight on the hospital roof. But here, as Naruto's basic skills are a bit more polished and his physical strength is high enough to summon wield the Executioner's Blade, Sasuke is shown the gap between them has closed by a huge degree. Only his taijutsu and speed really surpass his teammates. With this all said, the fight would still end in a very similar way, with the boys preparing to clash their A-rank jutsu together and Kakashi intervening to stop his students from killing each other. Though I do think we can see Zabuza revealed to also have been watching the fight, as Jiraiya did, ready to intervene, though he would call both Kakashi and Jiraiya idiots for teaching those two hotheads strong-ass attacks like that. Sasuke would still see Naruto's water tower and be angered even further, leading to Kakashi sitting him down to speak with him. I even think during their conversations, Zabuza could approach and express his own opinion of the situation, trying to give Sasuke experienced advice. Alright kid, listen up. You're the most talented of Kakashi's brats, so I relate to you the most. So trust me when I say, I've seen men go mad with power. I tried to assassinate my original Kage because of single-minded hatred he held, just like yours. I lost Haku because of the same kind of hatred towards him. You keep this up, and you'll sink just as low as Yagura, or me, or even your brother. It's not too late. You have comrades, those precious to you. Focus on protecting them, and I promise you will get stronger. But this would all fall on deaf ears, as Sasuke would roar back that that's why Haku wasn't here. Kakashi would have to hold Zabuza back from mauling the young boy, explaining that he didn't actually mean that and to go and cool off, which Zabuza would sigh and do as Kakashi finished his story, telling Sasuke that he was not the only one going through this, telling him that everyone Kakashi had ever cared about had already been killed. Later that night, the Uchiha would be approached by and would leave with the Sound 4. His interaction with Sakura is still taking place like in canon, and in the morning, the newly minted Hokage is forced together a team to retrieve the Uchiha. But even with Naruto being stronger and with Zabuza in the village, everything would still go as in canon. The village is still low on shinobi, meaning that Naruto's team of Shikamaru, Kiba, Choji, and Neji are still sent after Sasuke, with the aid of the Sand Village coming afterwards. Sasuke would still make the Orochimaru, though through his battle with this timeline's Naruto, he'd make the journey a bit more injured than he did in canon. And still as in canon, he would decide to directly defy his brother. But there was still some underlying bond that kept him from killing Naruto. Kakashi and Pakkun would then track down Naruto and bring him back to the village, truly sad over losing Sasuke today. While in the hospital, Naruto still receives a visit from Jiraiya, who would commission him for a training trip. Once again, things have just really synced up with canon for now. Our next big change comes in the week before Naruto would leave the village. A few key things would happen here. Zabuza will be informed that he is technically only tuning rank since he currently only has a single change in chakra nature. Due to this, he would set out to learn a second change in nature, which based off his battle with Kisame, where he was able to see Asuma's abilities, I personally think it would be Wind, seeing as it has the most advantages for him. On the other hand, Earth nature would give him a big advantage over Kisame. Speaking of Kisame, he realized that if this organization was really after Naruto, then there'd come a day when he'd need to be able to stand against him and protect Naruto. That said, he would also like to begin training with both Guy and Kakashi to hopefully learn to better counter a Sharingan and improve his physical strength to better battle against Kisame, who could easily absorb his chakra. Also during this time, rumors would begin to finally spring up around Zabuza's current whereabouts, making Tsunade and the village council a bit nervous. Thankfully, it seems the 4th Mizukage was not intrigued by Zabuza, and at the moment, there were simply rumors of a leaf ninja wielding the Executioner's Blade. And with no concrete description, that could be anyone, even Kakashi. And keep in mind, both Kisame and Suigetsu are well aware who defeated Zabuza, but it's also possible they only learned this through Orochimaru and the Akatsuki respectively. That said, there's nothing stopping the residents of the Land of Waves from telling people who killed Zabuza Momochi. Not only this, but Zabuza did have actual hunter ninja after him, and at some point, his trail would have gone cold and probably led to the Land of Waves where they could find his body and his grave. Remember, the Executioner's Blade canonically was not disturbed for an entire 3 years after Zabuza's death. And knowing that Yagura was under the control of Madoru Uchiha, we can infer that he simply didn't care about the blade. So with this in mind, for now, things are fine. But for now, the village is very wary about letting Zabuza leave on missions where he could be seen. From now on, he would at least have to store his Executioner's Blade in a scroll to transport it. And hearing of Naruto's imminent departure, Zabuza decides to give the boy a going away gift and begins working on it immediately. Also during this time, like in canon, Naruto would attempt to teach Konohamaru the Rasengan. During the training session, Zabuza would appear and call Naruto over. Strangely, he would measure Naruto for something and tell the boy to shut up when he questioned about it. Then he would leave. Curious, Konohamaru would ask who that was when Zabuza left, and he'd be surprised to hear his rival had another mentor other than the great Kakashi and Master Jiraiya, one who was also famous. Later on, the night before Naruto is set to leave the village, there's a knock on his apartment door. When it wasn't open in the next few seconds, Zabuza began trying to chop it down, causing he and Naruto to bicker and argue. Stepping inside, Zabuza holds a large box under his arms. When asked what it was, he tells Naruto to be patient. This is kinda hard for him. He's not too good with the sentimental stuff. Not being able to argue this, Naruto offers his mentor a cup of ramen and the two sit down to eat. Scarfing down cheap ramen in somewhat uncomfortable silence, Naruto would break it and ask once again, what was in the box? Zabuza would tell him that it's a going away present and slide it to him, sighing as Naruto opens it. Inside, he would find a great sword, somewhat resembling the Executioner's Blade, but much smaller. I forged it from the Executioner's Blade. You can break it apart and regenerate through iron and blood. The broken pieces lose that ability, but they're still there when all's said and done. And, if forged correctly, could maybe create a blade more durable than the original. That's what I theorize anyway. The girl that helped me said she modeled after the first Hokage's sword. That's why I couldn't get to look the exact same as mine, but it is what it is. Naruto would be really shocked. He was really touched by this gift. It was really nice. And saying this would make Zabuza a little less nervous. Listen, kid, I know you want my sword, but I'll need you to take this replacement for now. I need it to protect you in this village, but one day you will succeed me. That's why I made you a sword more durable than mine to learn with. Zabuza would then go on to thank Naruto. He saved his life. He made him realize how important Haku was to him. And beyond even that, he helped him deal with Haku not being here anymore. He wanted Naruto to realize that he would always have his back. And now he would literally be able to carry Zabuza's will and blood on his back to prove it. Naruto would then ask, what was Zabuza's actual current goal? Protecting the village is his job, but what did he want to accomplish? The demon would claim that at the moment he wasn't sure, but he thought he'd get the answer by continuing to watch over Naruto. In return, once Naruto was Hokage, he expected him to help him reform the village of the Bloody Mist. With that, the former demon of the mist would stand and ruffle Naruto's hair, the only display of affection that he could really stand without vomiting. Just before he left, Naruto would ask what the name of his new sword was, only for Zabuza to laugh and say that a blade has to earn its name and not be given one. And with that, he left through Naruto's broken door. Thinking about all Zabuza had done for him, and what he had just said, and the man he'd become, Naruto is struck with inspiration. Realizing he has just enough time, he sets out for the Hokage Tower, where he would enter Tsunade's office and ask a huge favor of her. Please make Zabuza Momochi the jonin commander of whatever team Konohamaru Sarutobi is going to be on. But that, Plot Soldier fam, is what we'll be leaving the story off for right now. So, right off the bat, I'm sure a ton of you are wondering why this took so long to get out. Two reasons. One, I only recently finished this script that I really loved, and it took compromising on this part and not having a ton of wild changes for a while, because sometimes timelines just sync up to canon a bit. Other than that, it's imperative that you guys are hitting the like button, subscribing, commenting, and sharing the videos. When deciding what videos to make, I study my analytics very in-depthly, and this series has only recently become very popular. I can't tell you guys will actually watch a video and make the work and time put into it worth it unless you guys are showing me. So please be sure that you are supporting the channel as much as you can by liking, subscribing, sharing, all the things you can do for free, and they're very easy to do. Just please do them. Secondly, I'm going to be placing a poll here, maybe a few polls. But the question is, what do you think the second chakra nature that Zabuza will most likely attempt to learn? This won't have much bearing on the story going forward, but I am very interested to see your opinions. Thirdly, be sure to follow me on Twitter for all kinds of sneak peeks. Finally, we once again owe a massive shout out to the patrons for supporting the channel directly. In Hero tier, Lone McQuaid, Zara Returns, Treb, and Stefan Consferent. In Shinobi tier, Pizza 15X, and Z Warrior tier, Shannon Roberts. In Beyond tier, Knuckles OX, Don, and Robert Smith. And the Plus Ultra tier, DJ the Lazy Gamer. You guys are very precious to me and this channel, and I are stronger for having you behind us. But guys, that'll do it for today. So as always, be sure to take care of yourselves and go beyond. Plus Ultra. See you guys next time. Believe it.